Good day, everyone. Today I will be talking about random errors, its nature, and statistical data treatment and evaluation, its overview. And so let's start from random errors. We have here learning objectives, our learning objectives. By the end of the discussion, students will be able to, number one, understand random errors. Number two, identify the different types of random errors. And lastly, differentiate random errors from systematic errors. Introduction. Science is all about performing and analyzing experiments. While performing an experiment, it is possible that several disparities may affect the result. All experiments have some degree of uncertainty. This uncertainty or disparity is known as an error. Uncertainty might come from various reasons. Errors may be due to the carelessness of the experimenter or equipment, or might be due to any random causes. Based on the origin, errors are classified into random errors, systematic errors, and gross errors. Let's try to differentiate the three of them. Random errors, systematic errors, and gross errors. When we say random errors, it is the magnitude of error is not consistent and keeps on changing every measurement. While systematic errors, it is the magnitude of errors is somewhat recurring, either very low or very high than the actual value. When we say gross errors, these are big, obvious blunders or mistakes that lead to results that are clearly wrong. So, let's try to differentiate them. Random errors, the magnitude of error is not consistent and keeps on changing in every measurement. Ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga result, pabago-bago. Pabago-bago ang ating result na nakukuha and hindi siya malapit sa result na gusto nating makuha naman. Ganun si random errors. When we say naman systematic errors, these are errors that nangyayari. Like, it could be higher or lower, but it stays at a higher place or a lower place. Let's say, for example, if you have a result of 0.5 and those results are all the same over time if you measure it again and again, those are systematic errors. When we say random errors, these are the results that are consistent and keeps on changing over time. Let's say, for example, you have a result of 0.5, then the next measurement you have 1.5, then the next is 0.4. Those are random errors. It happens randomly and it changes over time. And when we say gross errors, these are the mga result naman na nakuha natin na napakalayo na sa ating gustong makuwang result. Let's say, for example, ang result na gustong makuha is 1.5. Then gross errors are results na napakalayo na sa gusto mo makuha. Let's say, for example, 1.5 and nakuha mo is 5.2. Diba napakalayo na? Ganun ang pagkakaiba-iba ni random errors, systematic errors, and gross errors. Now, we have here a picture. Let's try to differentiate random errors from systematic errors through this example. We have here a dart, and we have the bullseye, which is at the center. They say that if there are no errors, we have the accuracy and the precision. There are accuracy and precision pag walang error na nangyari. Si random errors, merong accuracy pero walang precision. Ano ba talaga yung accuracy and precision? Well, the accuracy is the accurateness of your result near to your gusto mo makuha. Malapit sa gusto mo makuha. Si preciseness naman, it's like having result again and again. Those are preciseness. You have a precise result but no accuracy. If that is a systematic. Random errors, we have accuracy but no preciseness. Kasi it could be higher, it could be lower. Pwede siyang tumaas, pwede siyang bumaba. Ganun si random errors. Let's try to compare it in this example here. As you see, merong 5 blue dots. Those are like the darts na abutan mo. And those darts shows that there are no preciseness kasi hindi sila malapit sa isa't isa. And pero meron silang accuracy. Ganun si random errors. While si systematic naman, walang accurateness pero merong preciseness. Kita nyo doon sa picture na yung 5 blue dots are near to each other. Ibig sabihin, meron silang preciseness but there are no accuracy. Now, let's try to imagine gross errors. Gross errors naman, it's like wala na sa table ng dart. Wala na siya sa circle. Like literally, napakalayo na niya. Ganon si gross errors naman. Ganyan ang pagkakaiba-iba ni random errors from systematic to gross errors. Next one is, let's try to define random errors more. Random errors happens because of disturbance occurring in the surroundings. This can be changes in temperature, pressure, or also due to an observer's misreading who takes the wrong reading. The complete elimination of any kind of error is nearly impossible. Nearly impossible kasi nga randomly nangyayari na hindi natin napapansin. Ganon si random errors. May instances na kaya mahirap ma-eliminate yung errors na ganyan kasi may instances na hindi natin napapansin na nangyayari na pala na nagagawa na natin. Let's say for example, if you take a sample from a lake, then kailangan mo pa siya i-travel papunta sa laboratory. Let's say for example, from San Jose to UEP. Then from there pa lang, pwede na mabago yung sample mo. Pwede na mabago kasi merong samples na nakadepende sa temperature. Pwede siyang mabago kasi on travel ka. Ibig sabihin, the environment could be colder or even hotter during that time sa pag-travel mo. Ganun si random errors, and that is how random errors work in environment. Now, isang rason rin kung bakit merong random errors is because of the observers. Us, tayo mismong mga nag-experiment, pwede siyang mabago kasi pwede tayong ma-misread or even mamali sa pag-measure. Ganun si random errors. Now, I have here also an example picture which shows a ruler having a measurement of it's neither 25 nor 26. Kung pipiliin mo sa 25, babago yung result mo. Kung kukunin mo sa 26, babago rin yung result mo. It's like pareho lang rin sa ginawa natin kay Sir RJ, yung quizzes natin. The decimal point, 'di ba? Kailangan natin 2 decimal numbers lang after the decimal point itself. Ganun yung nangyari sa atin, and it happens randomly na hindi natin napapansin rin. From here, the example, if kukunin natin sa 25, pwedeng mabago yung result. If kukunin natin sa 26, pwede rin mabago ang result. Random errors already. Kung 25, pwedeng magkulang yung result. Kung 26 naman, pwedeng magsobra yung result natin. We also have an example or examples for random errors to better understand what is really a random error. First one is weight measurement on a weighing scale fluctuate because it's near to impossible to stand on the scale very same way each time. Pag nagpapatimbang tayo, pwedeng siyang mabago based sa pagtayo natin. Pwedeng nakastand tayo ng mali, pwede namang tama. And it happens if we measure it again and again, pwede siyang mabago. And nagbabago-bago nga siya kasi you cannot stand the very same way you stand on the first one. Oo, sa una mong ginawa. So pwedeng mabago ang ating weight, mabago ang ating timbang. Sunod is posture changes influence height measurement. Pag sa height naman, pwedeng mamali ka sa measurement sa height mo kasi may instances na hindi straight yung pagtayo natin. Meron namang straight yung pagtayo natin. Pwedeng mabago ang result ng ating height. And also, last one, reaction speed affects time estimation. Let's say for example, if you want to measure a pen falling, from your hand. Then, isang rason kung bakit merong random errors is also because of our reaction time. Kasi, ang mga tao is not literally can react easily. Yes, they can react, but in a split seconds only. Ganon si random errors. Pwede kang magsobra sa pag-measure ng reaction time, ng time ng pag-fall, ng pagkahulog ng ballpen, pwede ring magkulang ka. Ganon si random errors. We also have sources of random errors. Kung merong first one is instrument limitation. Isang rason kung bakit merong random errors is because kakulangan sa kagamitan. Pwede siyang maging rason. Pwede ring maging rason if medyo sira na yung instrument na ginamit mo. Yung mga tools na ginamit mo for experimenting, pwede yan maging rason kung bakit merong random errors. Next one is environmental factors like variation in pressure and temperature. Pwede siyang mabago based sa humidity because it is colder or hotter. Ganon si random errors, and minsan hindi natin napapansin. Kasi may instances na sa environment, the temperature could be more hotter or colder na hindi natin napapansin. And we also have due to mishandling or wrong readings by the observer. Pwede natin, as I said earlier, pwedeng maging rason tayo para magkaroon ng error sa ating experiment. And that is by mishandling or wrong readings or namali tayo sa pagbasa. And we also have on how to reduce random errors. And it is by increasing the sample size. If we increase the sample size, mas makakuha tayo ng accurate na result. And also, by repeating the experiment. By repeating the experiments, may instances na pwede na natin diyang makita kung ano ba talaga yung error na nagawa natin, kung bakit ito nangyayari. Mapapansin na natin yan pag ginawa natin yung experiment again and again, if we repeat the experiment. And lastly, we have different types of random errors. And these are environmental errors and observational errors. When we say environmental errors that occurs due to the unpredictable change in the environment. Ibig sabihin, environmental errors are errors na nangyayari based sa environment mismo or sa temperature. Pwedeng maging bigla na lang umulan and lumamig and uminit bigla. Ganun si environmental errors. That is how it works. And minsan, unpredictable pa siya. Next one is observational errors. When we say observational errors, these types of error generally occur due to any mishandling or judgment made by the observer. Ibig sabihin, it's like tayo na ang nakakagawa ng mali. Tayo nang nakaka-mishandle, tayo na ang nakaka-misread, and even yung judgment natin. Pwede siya mabago. Ganun, then those are the different types of random errors. And that's all for the random errors and its nature. Let's come now to statistical data treatment and evaluation. Its overview. Introduction. In chemical analysis, measurements are the cornerstone, but those measurements are rarely perfect. There's always some degree of variability, some uncertainty. To get truly reliable result, we need to apply statistical methods to the data. It's not just about running the analysis, it's about understanding the data we get, knowing its limitation, and ensuring its accuracy. We have here our learning objectives. At the end of the discussion, students should be able to understand statistical data treatment and evaluation, understand the importance of statistical data treatment and evaluation, and grasp the idea of statistical method. Let's define statistical data treatment and evaluation. Statistical data treatment data or statistical treatment data, these are the process of applying statistical methods to raw data in order to organize the data, analyzing the data, and interpret and draw conclusions from the data. It's like you are organizing your sample. You are organizing your raw data para hindi ka malito kung saan siya nabilong. Ganun si statistical treatment data. We also have statistical data evaluation. It involves applying statistical methods and techniques to the treated data to draw conclusions, test hypotheses, and make inferences. Si statistical data evaluation naman is gagawa ng conclusion. It is about making conclusion through the statistical treatment data or through our raw data kung saan inorganize natin para mas mapadali ang ating pagkuha ng result. We organize the data, then make conclusion out of it. Why do we need to do a statistical data treatment and evaluation? Statistical data treatment is crucial in chemical analysis to ensure the reliability and accuracy of analytical result. Ibig sabihin, kailangan natin ang statistical data treatment and evaluation para mas mapadali ang ating pagkuha ng result. Not literally nga mapadali, but para hindi tayo masyado maghirap to identify the errors, the possible things na pwedeng mangyari sa ating experiment. And it involves applying statistical methods to transform raw data into meaningful insights, helping to identify trends, errors, and significance of the findings. Kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, kailangan natin ng statistical data treatment and evaluation para hindi tayo masyado mahirapan sa kung ano talagang naging result natin or kung ano ang mga errors na nangyari sa atin during our experiment. Now, we have two terms of importance in any measurement, and these are accuracy and preciseness. Na-mention ko ito kanina doon sa random errors, systematic errors, and gross errors. Accuracy is defined as the closeness of the result to the true value. This can be applied to a single measurement but is more commonly applied to the mean value of several repeated measurement or replicates. Ibig sabihin kay accuracy is the closeness of a result to the true value. Ibig sabihin malapit siya sa true value or sa gusto mong makuhang result. Gaya ng example ko kanina sa random errors, meron siyang accuracy kasi yung blue dots are near the bullseye. Malapit sila sa bullseye mismo. Now, when we talk about preciseness or precision, it is defined as the extent to which results agree with one another. Ibig sabihin, kung ano yung result mo sa una, ganun rin yung result sa pangalawa, pangatlo, and so on. Parang not literally naman na pare-pareho talaga. Pwedeng near the result sa una mong result na nakuha. Ganun si preciseness. And systematic errors is an example of that. We have here statistical methods are broadly categorized into descriptive and inferential techniques. When we say descriptive statistics, it serves to summarize the present data in a meaningful way, utilizing measures like the mean, median, and mode to indicate central tendencies and range variance and standard deviation to detect data dispersion. Think of it like kumukuha ka ng result or ng data through the whole population itself. Hindi ka lang kumukuha ng sample, then dyan ka kumukuha ng conclusion also. No, si descriptive is kinukuha yung mean, median, and mode ng buong population para makuha yung accurateness ng result or ng data na gusto mong makuha. Think of it like one section in a class. Si descriptive is kinukuha niya yung height. Then, gagawa siya ng summarization about sa kung ano ang average height. Kinukuha niya yung lahat ng height ng students from that section para makuha yung result, para makakuha ng average result. Now, when we talk about inferential techniques naman, these are enables us to draw conclusion about a larger population based on a sample. Ibig sabihin, kumukuha ka lang ng sample para gumawa ng conclusion based sa population ng sample na kinuhanan mo. Let's say for example again, yung section ng isang class. Kumuha ka lang ng sample from, let's say for example, 5 girls and 5 boys. Kumuha ka lang from that sample. Ibig sabihin, those 10 students are only your sample. Then, dyan mo sila kinuhanan ng that height para makakuha ka ng result, ng average result of the height of the whole section itself. Ganun si inferential techniques. And lastly, we have the general steps in making statistical data treatment and evaluation. First is data collection. We collect first the data. We gather first data. Next is data cleaning, identifying and handling errors, missing values, and outliers. We handle errors first. That is why it is called data cleaning. Data organization and preparation. Structuring the data for analysis. We are preparing our data. Then, choosing appropriate statistical method. We select method or techniques relevant to your research question and data type. Nakadepende sa ating gustong mahanap. Yes. And data analysis, applying the chosen statistical methods. Dito naman sa statistical analysis, ginagamit na natin yung statistical method na nakuha natin, nagagamitin natin. We also have interpretation of result. We understand what the analysis reveals. Iniintindi na natin kung ano ang naging result na ating nakuha. And we draw conclusion. Summarizing the findings and their implication. Ibig sabihin, gumagawa na tayo ng conclusion based sa result na ating ginawa. And that's all for my report about random errors and its nature and the overview of statistical data treatment and evaluation. Thank you for listening